I'm Max Farrell, like I said, and we also have Mr. Michael Ficca on the line with us tonight. How you doing, Michael?
Good evening, everybody. How is everybody? Good, 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 good. Max?
All right, I'm doing good, but there it is. There's the tone. Um, Tonight's webinar is going to be one of the first in this series that we're going to be doing. I'm glad to see that we have a lot of people here tonight. Those that are in this room that have senior and elite by your name, or should have senior and elite by your name, either in this room or in the chat room, if you're a senior or an elite trader, I want you to realize that you have worked very hard to where you have gotten that title. And some of you may not think you've worked hard, but the disciplines that you have used to get there. So first off, I want to say thank you very much to all elite and senior trades. But one of the newest elite traders that is on board is Michael, or Mike, right? I won't give last names, but Mike has his names in the chat room there. I want you to give a congratulations to him. He worked very hard to get where he's going. And the next level of this industry is building relationship, and that's what Mike has shown. And he's going to be an easy mark to get up to elite. Some of you are going to get to that next level of senior level 2 or senior trader, and it's all going to come from that work. If you feel you've been overlooked, or if you want to be more involved with the company, those are the steps to do. Elite to senior 2, right? And eventually to the master program that I'm putting together for myself and Mike and Paul Davies and a handful of other people that have really shown this process, Dr. Brian Bonner and a handful of other people. Once we get to those positions, especially Thor and people that have really shown that they have an understanding of what we're trying to commit to here at Dex. Now, tonight, it's all about what the Dex program is, and what we're going to be doing is doing a little bit of a sales pitch here to show you some of the things that we're going to be doing. But also, for those of you that are brand new, that haven't bought into the program yet, the ones that have not bought in, I want you to take a second and write the word new in the chat room box there. This is going to let us know that, you know, how many people are having come into the room that is brand new, that has not bought in to the program itself. These programs are also designed for giving information to traders that are already with us in what we call investors within the company. We try not to think of customers as investors. We try not to think of everybody as a customer. We think of you more as an investor into the company itself. So when you get to a certain status, you really become more of a investor than a customer, because of the time and efforts that you put in. Just as much as we're helping you, you're helping us. Okay, Jay, welcome. Anybody else in the future that has a new, you know, if you're brand new, please just type in it in there as we go. Everybody has one of these. It's earnings and risk disclaimer. If somebody doesn't, then they're negligent in a way. And there's been times that I haven't shown it in certain cases if I'm not doing like something about money. But tonight we're going to show money. We're going to show things that we're doing. We're going to show results from other customers and other investors and other traders and seniors and elites and everybody else, even from Mike and myself. And I want you to know that everything that we do provide is about education, but it's also about your trade assistance, being able to help you learn how to trade and become something more than what you are right now, right? If you were already at the level you wanted to be, and you wouldn't be here. And that's okay. That really is okay, because the search led you here. We changed this industry. You have to realize we changed this industry, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Also, you're going to see different levels of traders. Some you'll do better than, some you won't. So all results may vary. The big question, who are we? If you're brand new, welcome, Margaret. If you're brand new and you've never heard of us before, maybe you've heard of us, you've seen our name around, what have you, who are we? Basically, we're you. We're traders that really just wanted to have an opportunity to be able to trade this market. Some of us got ripped off in this industry by this, and come on, we all know that this industry is riddled with scammers and people who will take your money. If this was a street, this industry is like the back alley almost, right? Because you never know what you're going to get into by doing some of these overseas binaries in these companies, right? But all of a sudden, you get into these companies that you think are all nice and bright and everything looks good, and they got a website and they got somebody who's up there flash talking and talking about trading and all this other stuff. And the next thing you know, they're asking you for $5,000 to trade overseas or do whatever, and your money's gone. So we wanted to be able to provide a solution for everybody. And that solution was to make a signals company that was very profitable, transparent, honest, and to be able to help as many people as possible to get to their idea of success. And that's a big difference than a lot of companies that are out there. How many people in the room here have had a bad experience in this industry? And probably every single the whole room's going to be flooded, right? I can guarantee you that, right? But one thing that you're going to find is that depending on who the company is and what their real intentions are, you never really know until they start to produce. They start saying, hey, put the money where the mouth is, kind of stuff, right? So if you're really about doing, trying to find the right company, you have to find one that is willing to work with you, provide for you, give you information, but also be reputable, approachable, have the opportunity to be able to communicate not just with people that are in the sales office, but also people that are been through it, like Mike Ficco, right? Mike, you've been with us for how long?
Since August.
Since August of last year, roughly around five, almost you're coming on your 6 months now. And you started as just an individual in the room, right? You vastly approached elite, you got to senior, then you went to senior level 2, and now what are you?
I'm pretty much still learning. I mean, every day's a learning experience for me, especially with you as my mentor. But it's every day's an adventure. It's great.
Well, you can say it too. You are a partner of the company now. Mike has
Yes,
earned, he's very bashful, I guess, but he's earned his right as a partner of the company alongside with Thor
still
and
blows me away.
and,
I
and
just
Paul Davies and a handful of other people that have made it up to that level. And Mike, you have to understand that you've earned that. I didn't just
mm,
give that to you. You've earned it.
I realize that,
Um,
but still, it's still it blows me away. It really does.
I understand. But the model of this company was to make something real for as many people as possible. And you can't do that by being just one or two individuals. You have to rely on others. You have to put your passion into what you want, but you also have to have other people who can put their passions in what they want from it as well. And Mike's passion and mine are in the same direction as Paul's and Amy's and Brian's and Thor and a lot of people that are in that room, people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this company. Now, it takes work. Does it take work, Mike?
Oh yes, yes, and not because I have to, but I put in 12, 14 hours a day because
Mhm.
I love trading. I really do. And the
Right.
guys I talk to on the phone know that for a fact.
Oh, yeah.
But I also like putting in the work, and I also like learning new things, and I'm still learning, especially from you with all the technical stuff.
Well, the technical side can be taught. The passion and the desire and the honesty can't. So
Hmm.
I'll be honest with you. So the big question is, besides who we are, because after we built Dex Signals, we started to listen to our customers even more and built a set of websites, Dex Trader, Dex Signals, and Dex Indicators. And this type of way that we had done this was all about this. I guess you can, I don't want to say triangle because it's not like an MLM kind of stuff, right? But it is really about the level of experience from any particular type of trader. And the big question is, what type of trader are you, right? If you're a trader that has a lot of background in the technical, like you have a lot of software experience, you want to, MetaTrader, Thinkorswim, all that stuff, we have a site for you, and that is what we call Dex Indicators, right? And I'll just put the initials here. I'm sorry. I have a brand new stylus and pen, Dex Indicators, right? And Dex Indicators is really about that side of it, learning the ins and outs of the indicators and how they work and support levels and resistance and MACDs and a whole bunch of great stuff. If you're a person that's sort of in between, but you want to kind of have an edge, just give me a signal and then I'll confirm it or validate it and that stuff. Then we have Dex Signals. And Dex Signals is probably the first place to start at if you're unsure of any of this, right?
Yep.
Most of you got probably free accounts in that process. And that's really cool too, because inside this system, the training is always free, right? Because we want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into before you start putting money down, right? Lastly, we have Dex Trader. And Dex Trader is a little bit of everything, right? But it has web-based charts, it has a data processing center, it has, just a ton more information that'll become even better. We even have some other things that are happening here. And it's really about those people that want the simplistic okay, because remember, you might still be a very dedicated indicators person, like you like the data and you like that kind of stuff, but you might be like Fika, who says, after I've done 500, 600 trades, I don't really need to have the indicators tell me because the signals are already telling me up here. And now I just get in and confirm them, and it makes my job easier, and he can trade more. So you can have the experience like he has, or a lot of the other traders have, and end up at Dex Trader. So the cool thing is you can actually start here, graduate to here, and then slowly wrap it up here, right? Once you're experienced and way to that point. So this system up here for Dex Trader is for the super novice and even the highest end elite. Okay, so keep that in mind. But you won't know what any of that is until you figure out what type of trader you are. You might not be sure. So go right here, and that's the best part for you. Okay. Tonight's webinar is brought to you by the letter B. No, you didn't. Tonight's webinar is all about Brad Beckham. Brad Beckham. Brad's going to kill me at the end of this. Listen, when we first started Dex Signals, we started with data, right? And we know how important data is, right? Data is something that makes all the world go around. Without the data, you really don't know where your mistakes were and the process was, right? So when we started this in June of, you get ready for this? 2015, okay, we started with the daily signal, and the daily signal has been running now, okay, consistently since then, and it's produced a tremendous amount of data for us on how many wins, how many pips, what news directions came out, just a tremendous amount of things. At the same time, we're applying that what we call actual live data, right? This is where we have signals going out and the process being calculated. We've also had what we call running data, right? And running data is really important for us because, sorry, a little bit of cursive. I'm just trying new things out with the pen. And run data is very important for us because it's back testing just a tremendous amount of stuff, right? So we're in here back testing, and this is really important because we can apply with little hints of information coming from this data up here to this data down here. So back on the ride, we can say, let's back test the data with the signals up top with let's just say a Bollinger Band crossover, or we can apply a strategy to this information up here, right? And what we did just recently is that we used our SR, most definitely our support and resistance indicator, and a handful of other things that are the recipe. It's the mix of what this system is, right? And most people are like, well, if you really want to help as many people as possible, then why don't you just give the system away for free? Well, sure. Money makes the world go around, and it has been a ride to get to this point. But what I am going to show you tonight is some resources that we're going to provide that will be a signal and a signal indicator and an exit plan for the trades themselves. That is probably, because of the data that we have, that information is the most powerful exit process and most concise that I've ever used before. And it's so powerful. During my webinars today for Dex Signals, I was showing some people in advance, and then I got off the webinar, was telling people and showing some people over the phone. And the one person was telling me that the balance of being able to scalp back and forth, which I've taught them, this was the one thing that always was left open to them. How do I know when to get out? Because that act of not knowing was so hurtful for some people, because people don't like to lose, right? You don't like to lose. Nobody in here likes to lose, right? I teach you how to kind of make losing as an even battle within winning, and make it all about one thing, and that's the information. But eventually, nobody really likes to lose, so we're going to help you try to eliminate that amount. Even that you may still not win that trade, you won't lose it to the level that you're going to. And I'll show you some of the numbers here in just a minute. So we called it the Dex SR Max, and I know this is a little bit egotistical for me, and I'm sorry, but it was a running joke and a gag for a long time. It just kind of stuck that everything should say Max at the end. It should be called Dex Max, but it was all a running joke, and not on my part either. So, but the SR stands for support and resistance. This is one of the main the strikes are being taken by the SR levels, but what's providing us to that SR level and direction is something that's closely guarded at this time until we get a very, very big handle on the process. Okay, but we're going to show the exit program. So, like I said, we use a support and resistance model and some other technical and time-based emergent solutions. This means that as the market's moving into a direction, and at a certain time, if it's been over a certain bar and there is a confirmation with an SR level as well as a few other things, then we pull a direction, and if it reaches that level, to a buy, right? But if it didn't, then we don't call it as a signal, or we call it as a sell, right? So there's a lot of little things. There's probably about 15 things that go into the release of the information, and then you can work with it on your side. Then the exit system, very simply, is using our Dex Max D, right? Sorry, hang on one second. Our Dex Max D. So this is the Dex one. So our Dex Max D that's on dexindicators.net is not a free component, okay? But for everybody from this solution on, I'm going to turn it into one of our free components for Dex Indicators. As far as for the exit system, because that's all it's for. It's not really for the entry system per se, okay? You're not going to use just the MACD. That'd be crazy, right? Because there's a lot of crossovers. There's a lot of things that are happening with the MACD that make that a very crazy process. And you might win some of the times, but you will end up losing more than you win. So you have to know when to use the MACD as a suggestive exit strategy. If you don't use it correctly, you're going to get out of trades prematurely. You're not going to be paying attention to the overall success. There'll be a lot of stuff that you'll miss. There'll be things that you'll get out of trades that you're not supposed to. So just keep that in mind. But I want to teach you what that looks like and how that operates. Because we have news tonight, we're not going to be able to show you a trade happening immediately from the process. But I want to show you a part of something that happened that I did in the video earlier today, but I want to show you again here in this video that we got the signal, and when I got the signal, the pair reversed. This is from the signals last night. The pair reversed and gave me a signal. I was able to get out for a very low amount of money. Let me show you what that looks like here. All right, let me see if I can. There it is. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Mike, did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay. So here is you may have to enlarge your screen or what have you, but here's the sell. This happened from last night. This was the USD JPY. We were called in at 114.48. That was the signal that was on. This wasn't the signal that gave us, but this was the strike price that was on Nadex at 114.48. We were eventually I'll show you what that signal looked like on the MetaTrader here. Let me grab it here. Let me get back to it. It's right here. Okay. So we were called out on this signal, and the price that it came out at was 114. I think it was where is it? Okay, let me see, what was it? I think 114.47. Okay. So we were called at 1.1447, and we found a strike on there for 48. So we were able to come up 1 pip and grab that. Let me enlarge the screen, right? And so when we got into the signal, we got into it right here, right around in this area. And so the strike was right here. This is where the strike was. And I'll put that line right here. This is where that strike was. Let's see if I make that a little thicker there. Okay. So that's where the strike was, right? And here's where the expiry was, right here. Okay, so there's where the expiry was, right? there. So actually the expiry was right here, but you know, this is the beginning of that next bar. So when it ends here, this is where the expiry was. So as you see, the signal came out right around in this area, gave us a number of 114.47 and told us that it was going to be a sell. Okay. And when it did that, a crossover happened right down here on our MACD, on our Dex MACD, a very simple 12.26.9. Okay, we can even emulate this on the website using a standard MACD that doesn't have some of the other trending information in and volume information. But it happened, this crossover happened right here. And when this happened, it happened well enough to where by the time it was confirmed by this bar, right, because the MACD, when it does a crossover, the crossover may not show during this bar. It might just be touching it or what have you. And it doesn't really show that it has a distance. If you can see this distance down here, very important to know that you have to have a closed bar. Once this bar closed at on top of the hour. So once this closed out at the top of the hour, we knew immediately that this was going to be reversing. So it was coming out as a sell going into a buy, right? Does that look like it makes sense, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So in that condition, we had a choice to make. And the choice was, do we bail the trade? Well, at this particular point, what I have found when I get a crossover here at this direction and it has this much time to keep going up, you could have stayed in and lost a couple more pips, or you can get out and know that even if this does close out, you follow the rule. And the rule is if it crosses over, first confirmed afterwards, get out. Now, second part of the rule is, could you do a reverse trade in that process? Now, I didn't do it in this one, but you could actually go that the first bar, you know, the lowest, if it was for a sell and you were going in a direction, the bar that's lowest in that direction that you were going in before the crossover happened, you could put a, you know, on the lowest part, on the not the close, but the lowest part, a reverse trade in the opposite direction at that point. Okay, and that's really important. You know, you can possibly go back and do that. Now, you'd be about 14 pips away from that solution, right? So could that have happened? Yeah, you could have gotten maybe a good trade in there. You could choke up a little bit, all that kind of stuff, but you're taking a risk there. So a reverse trade is a higher risk opportunity. But again, we're dealing with multiple types of traders here, right? Some might like to do that. Some might like to not do that and do it from at the money right here at the point as soon as you get a confirmation on the crossover. That could be another process, but we haven't finished testing that out. Could you imagine that the crossover happened? I got into the trade 24.45, got out of the trade at 23.55, so 1 hour and 10 minutes later, okay, got the crossover information and got out for a minus $27. I could have been lost 75 bucks, but instead I lost 27. So if I went at the money and got in for 45 or 40 or even 30, I would have made my money back on one trade in the opposite, right? If I did put an opposite trade in at that point, immediately would have made at least 22, 23 bucks. So I would have only been 4 or 5 bucks off. But since I didn't, it only took me 1 1/4 trades to get back to this instead of 4 to 1, which is a 20-80 rule. So imagine having that kind of opportunity to where you get a signal, you sit down and watch that trade. Once, if you can get into the trade, which most of the trades you should be able to get into. If not, you can put a working order on. And if you're able to get into that trade, as long as there's not a crossing order happening, a crossover happening from that point, you just simply go to the website and you could do something like this. And I'm going to be changing this for all charts. Oops. Well, for all charts. I didn't want you to see that. That's you weren't supposed to see that. But for all the charts that are on the system here, I'm going to be changing it over to a MACD system, right? Oh, by the way, if you want to watch how well we're trading with this, okay, so Mike and I are trading with this signal process prior to, it's only giving us signals at the moment. Just go to performance, go down to Dex SR Max Trades on Dex Trader, and you'll be able to see our spreadsheet. This is a live spreadsheet, right? So if I make changes to this, you'll see it immediately. All right. But down here on the trader's website here on the Dex Trader 2.0, even on Dex Signals, you're going to have this. We're going to turn this over. We're going to have a MACD put on here, okay? And we're going to take this stochastic off, and we're going to put a MACD. But a MACD is easy to put on here. If I don't get, I should be able to get to it tonight. But we're going to do that. Mike's telling me I got to go to sleep. No. But it's just simply that. So this MACD doesn't really look as prominent as the one that we have. You know, it's through TradingView, but it still has the crossover. It still has the process. And if we go over to, let's see, USD JPY, and we do the same thing, we'll come up here, go down to my, and look, listen, how much time did that take? 30 seconds to set up. But you want to get this, I want to get this set up to where it's a default for you, right? There it is right there. Okay. So the time frame here is that once that came out and it got confirmed at that bar, I knew that we had to get out, and we did. So you could use that same process in there. Now, I'm not telling you that every crossover yields an event in the opposite direction, and you should be putting support and resistance lines in, and this is what you can do to make money with this process, because you can do okay, but you will not do at the levels that you're about to do with this system. Let the programs, the signals, the process do the hard lifting of the technical, so you can get 92, 93, 94%, right? Don't settle for 75 to 80% ever. Okay, because that's what a MACD, just a simple MACD strategy can yield that for you, 75 to 80%. But you got to be very, very disciplined and know when it's going wrong, because you'll get stuff that hits you like this. You'll be like, oh, that's a crossover and it's a return, and you'll put a lower one in, and you'll go to get in, and then it'll drop off, and you're like, bad news, right? You'll get stuff like this that comes down and goes back up, and it throws you for a loop. So you need to have all the technical stuff that we're providing for you with the signal is that pre-information. So what will happen is that right up in here, there'll be an SR Max trade system. All right. Now, what are we waiting for? Why didn't we just start releasing this information now and start putting it out? Well, one, we want to make sure it's viable back and forth, that the trading strategy from a customer side, from an investor side, can be utilized with the greatest of ease, right? That's why Mike's testing it. That's why I'm testing it. That's why we're going to be showing it and giving it to a handful of other people to be able to test it. I also need to have and finish, which we have, the NA intraday, which is the NA stands for news avoidance. This live NA intraday signals to make sure that the news system that we've created will cancel out because intraday and NA intraday should be the same, but when there's news, we don't allow it to release, and we just restarted it again here because we wanted to make sure we get the proper data in here. So this is with news, and if you look at this isn't really, I mean, yeah, it gets bad down below. Watch, right? If I go to 100, there are times that you have a large pack of losing, but this is a news pack that released, right? So you kind of know, right? You kind of know. And if you kind of take this strategy of the exit strategy, right? If you take the exit strategy and use it even with intradays, and use our support and resistance indicator on dailies from Dex Signals and from Dex Indicators, you're really going to find a pretty good strategy in there as well. But again, I don't want to give you too much information right now. So with the NA intraday being released and that news avoidance indicator and system that we've built, this is going to be able to avoid the majority of all of our intraday signals. And I also want to be able to apply that to the SR Max so it can be automatically delivered to you. Because right now, here's what happens. and I explained this in the room today, that the signal system for this process is happening in an automated process right now, right? So the computer is, sitting here thinking of the trades it needs to make. And then what happens is that it sends it out to a notice that says, hey, look, here's where the signal is, okay? Do you want to use this one or not? And we'll check off yes or no. And if we check off yes, it's going to go to a terribly drawn line. It's going to go to the spreadsheet, and it's going to signal and hit Twitter notification as well. And then that's going to be a signal. Now, as far as the exit strategy, we're not going to post exit. We're not going to post exit strategy or exit trades in there or reverse trades okay, from that process. You're going to need to pay attention for now to the MACD and to that process. Please, 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 if you're going to use these signals, because we're going to give them to everybody, in Dex Signals and Dex Trader. And if you're going to use these, you have to pay attention to the MACD at that point. Now, you only have to pay attention every 15 minutes, right? And because it's a 2-hour trade, okay, you really only have to look at the computer, what, 4 or 5 times, 8 times at the most, right? And even then, now, if you get a crossover that happens that's in your direction, let's say you got in for a buy, right? It's for a buy. Let's try that, right? And the crossover is in your direction. Remember, the blue is crossing the red upwards. Then guess what? You're for the trade, right? So just stay in the trade. You're good. But if you get it in the opposite direction of your trade, it's time to get out, and get out immediately, and do so. You know what? Do so mechanically. Be like a surgeon. You have no desire to sit and toy over this stuff. And the wait and see mentality is something that, no, the rule comes over. If it crosses over and confirms, get the hell out and stop worrying about, well, if I would have stayed in, it would have won. You know what? Save all those woulda, shoulda, couldas for the playground, because that's where they belong. You're here trying to do a job. You're here to try to get to what? What algorithm are you trying to get to? Can anybody in the room tell me what algorithm you're trying to get to? Come on, we're famous for it.
Come on. I got my hat.
There we go. And look who it was. Brad Beckham.
Brad Beckham.
Gerald got it too, and he put it all the way out there. So everybody's right. Look at that. Look at even people I don't even know yet. Awesome. Oh, Mel's in there. Melvin, welcome. CVG, right? CVG. And that's the most important thing. That's the one you're trying to get to, because if you can't get to that, if you can't get to CVG, none of it will make sense for you. None of it will work for you, because let's be real just for 1 second here. You're here to run yourself like a business, and your business will not do well if you're not consistent. If your customers come in the door and they see something completely different every other day, they will never be happy with you, right? So you need to be consistent, but that you also have to grow, right? And in order for you to grow, you're going to have to apply volume at certain times. Not so much how much volume in your storefront for most cases, right? But the amount of customer stuff that you sell, and so you need more customers. So basically, in this very bad analogy, you need to be able to apply once you get consistent trades happening. So if you do 4 trades a day, you want to be on the winning side, right, to that high side. So if you're able to do that, having just one contract, you're only going to equal out right around what, $100 a day? So that $100 a day may not seem like a lot of money to you. You times that by 20 days a month you're trading, and now you're looking at about $2,000, right? But what happens if you say, all right, well, I got enough in my account. Now I'm doing those 4 trades consistently. I want to do 4 contracts at a time. Well, guess what happened? You just knocked this up to $8,000, right? Not by adding how many trades you do, but adding the volume of how many contracts you've done. And that's where the real power of CVG comes in. So the most important thing to do is to get to C. Because once you get to there, V and the G, because you already know what the G is, you want to get to a goal of something. So you just need to know this. This one right here is a little tough because it requires your balance to be of higher stature, right? You have to have a bigger balance. Eloy says CVG equals winning. I should get that on a t-shirt. Okay, so this is the big thing here. This is what you really have to get to. This is the secret of life right here. It's not the law of attraction. It's not the law of divide. It's to work this business. Okay, remember, you're a business, to the point where you can become consistent. And folks, before we go on, I just want you to know that some of you will get this immediately. Some of you won't get it immediately. And it doesn't mean that you're a worse trader than anybody else. Some people just have it in their skin. Some people just have it in their gut to be able to make this thing work fast. And some of you, it might take some time. Okay? But no matter what level you're at, the tools that we have here for you are very important. And so for you to be able to do well, you simply have to want to apply yourself. And with that application, there are tremendous amount of things that are here for you. Because I look for people that want to make it work. So when I hear things like, I want to make this my business, I want to work from home, I tell this to a lot of people, I'm willing to do whatever we need to do. Booking a consult, being on the system, you pick a senior level consult. There's with me, I don't have a picture of Mike because apparently he's in witness protection.
Yeah.
So, but there's me and there's Mike in there, right? And soon there'll be more seniors. I'm recruiting and building that up every single day. There'll be more senior traders be in here. There'll be senior assignments as well for some of you senior traders to take on some people, some Padawans, if you will, of other traders that, since you're doing better and you know the system and you're getting through it, eventually you'll get to those higher senior level 2s and masters. Okay. So any company that's prepared to put their time and look at these, I mean, it's only like 5 or 6 hours a day that we have open for consults. But let me tell you, what other company do you see ever do that?
Mm.
How many people can you pick up the phone? How many companies can you pick up a phone to and have them answer and have it be one of the owners or somebody who's vested so hard and worked their way through the company and is willing to train you, that will spot and work with you on your, let's see here. Here's what we do with a lot of our traders. We get them into the journals and start showing them how to keep their journal. What's you're just going to Nadex, okay, and going to their account, taking the history, taking the transactions, going to view history, copying and pasting their information into journals just like this and this. And that's all they're doing. This is an honor system in here. And we see things like Gerald, who started with us back in November and worked his way through working another job at the same time doing batches of 100 trades in 5-minute signals. So he can, look at this. These are all his 1-hour trades. Look at this. This is 100 1-hour trades now. He went through, and did like batches and batches of 5-minute trades to get himself between 80 and 90%. That's what he told me he was going to do, and that's what he did. He worked and worked and worked, got to this point, got to his batch where he was doing his 100, right? Had a conversation with him, said to go do this, start your 100 trades on your 1 hours. And look what he did, 5 contracts at a time, $100, $100. Look at this. No loss, no loss, no loss. Then there's a loss after his 14th. Okay. Yeah. Did it hurt? Absolutely. But it's a part of the system. And then he gets in and he just starts running with this thing. And he gets to now I can't calculate exactly how much this was. I had to copy and paste it into another one, but I can tell you right now it's about $3,600. That's hand to God. Okay. This equaled $3,600, and it went from, let me see what the time was, on the December 22nd. So this is a month. This is a month worth of work, $3,600 in a month. Okay. Remember, all results may vary, but what's sitting in front of you is a learning process that no matter what level you're at, you can get to the level and the level of success that you desire, but you have to work it. And we're willing to help you with it, but you have to work it. All right, what's next? The Dex Trader system and Twitter notifications will be applied to this process. But the notification of reversals won't be. I just want to make sure that you know that. So there will be things that we're going to teach you in future webinars. Okay, we'll have certain webinars during the week that, like this one, and Thursdays will be more of a sales meets, here's what this program is, and then there's a Tuesday and Wednesday webinars. You'll get emails for these because we don't want to make them the same every single night. There'll be some stuff that we'll be do trading on. There'll be some that will be inside trades and get out on reversals. We want to show you some testing stuff that we're building, a lot of good stuff, right? So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's coming for you. We're never going to trade during the news for now. We are doing some testing with news variant processes, but we're going to kind of stay just on our pathway here of no news, right? And no exits and reversals during news as well. It's going to be open to Dex Signals and members and DexTrader.com members, and we are working on. Hang on one second. I'm really sorry. Thought I was going to sneeze. Yep, I did. Excuse me. Thank you. We are working on a signals indicator delivery program. So you can have the indicator for the signal that gives you the alert that, hey, this is the direction, this is the number, or this is the direction of a buy. Thank you, Tim. And then you choose your strike level with your SR level and all that kind of stuff, right? So there are things that we're going to have in there, and then we'll probably have a MACD conversion system in there that you'll apply so you can have a good exit strategy within your indicator, right? So you're still getting the signal, but yet you can use the indicator and the SR to pick a better strike or a better process and have more information is better. So that's the way we're going to apply it to the DEX indicator, okay? Now, before I move on, I have to let you know what the next screen I'm about to show you, for some, might be, you might have a groan, but we're a very fair company, and we're very understanding to the way the world is happening right now, and what, everybody's money grubbing and trying to steal money and take things. But we have to talk about this elephant in the room, okay? And the elephant in the room is that here at Dex Signals, we started out at, I think it was like $73.50. Originally when we were doing it, we're doing like $7 trials, and they were never really working because no one was sticking around. There was all these things. We were gravitating to the wrong people. People didn't want to put money into their business and their trade and what they were doing and all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of negativity in the very beginning of this company. But as we began to progress with people and showing value and giving more value than what we had in how much it cost, and I pretty much can tell you right now, with the consults, the training, the webinars, the trading rooms, all the training that's in there, all the even more training that's coming, indicator networking, all of it that's in there, we're pretty sure that these prices are very fair. But Dex Trader right now is $197. We have to increase the price to $247. And this isn't one of those gimmicky things either. And I toil with this because Amy Kuipers, who's my partner and one of my best friends, probably the best friend, right? Has to have this conversation with me every once in a while, right? Mike's got, you're my best friend too, Mike. But the 197 that we have it at right now is at a price that is good for what we have in there, but for what we're about to release and how we're about to get it there, all those people that were prior to you, if you haven't bought in yet, this is still good until Friday. Dex signals and Dex indicators will still remain the same price it is right now until Friday, and we even have a code for you to be able to use. So don't worry, nothing's going to raise up on you yet, but I have to give people well enough notice. And this isn't one of those days you got to buy now. There's 15 days left of Christmas. Buy now and you get 2 for free. I don't like all those gimmicky things, but I have to let people know this has to happen. Well, ultimately, the price of Dex Trader will be $297, and we won't take it above that, because if I give anything more value than $297, we're coming to your house and trading for you, okay, or something like that, and that's even more than that. But Dex Signals and Dex Indicators. So Dex Indicators is going to stay the same price. It's not going to increase. It's going to be the 147. So Dex Indicators will be 147, which is that right now. Dex Signals will go to 197. Dex Trader is going to go to 247. The reason why is because we're preparing for we've been increasing in the amount of people. We have over 20 or closely approaching 2,400 people within the network, and there are about 200 and something, vastly approaching 300 very quickly in the paying side. And the frustrating part is that it's still running by the same 3 main people running customer service. Thank God Mike's here. He's doing some work. Thor's taking some room. Dan's doing a lot of good stuff with the marketing advertising, but with Dan marketing advertising and a lot of other people coming on board and word of mouth, we're getting to a lot of people. And we need to be able to advance the programs, the security, bring on marketing people, bring in some very good customer support people, be able to handle the rooms and be able to give more value to it, right? Brad Beckham asks, how much do you want for all 3? If you're buying Dex Trader, you're going to get all 3, I think. Right now, I think it's like 197 plus 50 that you're getting. So I think at this point, it's like Dex Trader. If you're getting Dex Trader, you can get the other 3 or the other 2. Dex Signals, there'll be an add-on price to that process for if you wanted all three. So again, if you're going after Dex Trader, just go after Dex Trader. Let's be real, okay? But listen, if you're already, whatever you're already paying, that's where you're at. Okay. So if you started with us at Dex Signals, you're paying $73. And what I told people when they were paying, whatever we come out with, you're going to get. A lot of people bought into the other things and they were getting great prices and all this stuff. So there's people that's paying like $73 for everything, and then there's people that are paying $147 for everything. And at every level that we get to, we always have this process where people are getting like the really happy price, right? That there's some that have to pay the more, but I haven't had one person yet come back to me and say, man, and if they did, there's whatever reason there is, I don't hear it. They never come to me and tell me, hey, this place is widely overpriced and your stuff sucks and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's been very, very positive, because for those that this fits with, for those that want to work it and make it happen, they see that we're sincere to be here for you and we want to make this work, and that it's a real company, and that we're not sitting here bullshitting you about numbers and all that stuff. We can show you with people. I don't hide behind some sort of veil someplace. I'm approachable. You can call me on the phone while I'm working. If I can pick up, I pick up. If I can't, then it defers to voicemail, but I call you back. And if I can't get you, I'll set you up with Mike, and Mike will call you back. And there's other things that are there, right? Because we want your success. Because with your success, it validates who we are as well as successful, because that means that we're transferring that power that we wanted to do in the beginning, which was to get you to that level of success you deem necessary. Okay? Your idea of success is most important to us. Not mine, not Mike's, not Eddie's, not Eloy's. It's yours, unless you're one of those people. Okay? So, broke another record tonight. We got to 65 people in the room. I want to thank you very much for being here tonight. Right? I think that was supposed to be a crowd. Mike, we got to work on your sound effects.
I'm sorry.
That's right. But when we're using this program, we're very excited. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate it. It is hard to put a price on integrity and transparency and honesty and on a level. We have changed this industry. We have changed this industry something fierce by applying the line that needs to be at a very high rate. We say that in order for you to be successful, you have to have hard work put in. And why wouldn't we be putting hard work in as well as the owners of this company for you as well? Is finding.
Man hasn't slept in 3 days.
Well, no, I've slept in 3 days. It's been a day and a half since we've been putting everything together.
Pardon me.
But don't make me sound like a super guy. I'm not. I tell you what, man, if I could sit back and just binge and watch, Netflix all day, I would. But this program has been the most important thing that I've put together in a very long time, and I've worked on some pretty big projects. And with the people like Mike and Amy and everybody that's in this room that has Senior Elite by your name, and even though some that have earned it, that haven't put it by there, we couldn't have done it without you. All right. At this time, normally I have a thank you screen at the end, but I have no thank you screen. I don't even have somebody put in the code there, Dex Save 50. Let's see if I can get it in all caps, right? Dex Save 50. Very important. I beat you all. But Dex Save 50. That'll get you $50 off your first month. And don't worry about these prices. If you're going to get in tonight, if you're brand new, if you put the word new by your name when you first came in, then you got a great deal coming to you. Get in, get learning, and get it happening. If you're unsure still, get into the free side to Dex Signals and go through the training and figure that out. And if you have questions along the way, ask the people in chat support. Okay, you won't have access to the chat room if you're a free member, but listen. You'll have access to chat support, and if you have questions, email me at max@dexsignals.com, and I'll try to answer as much as you possibly can. But if once you pay and you get inside, the sky's the limit for you. We'll work our asses off to make sure that you're getting it and you're working hard to do it. Ask anybody that had a consult with me in this room, or one with Mike, okay? That we will do whatever we can to make it work for you and try to find out what works best for you, not just some blanket statement that's, some eat more chocolate, whatever it might be. Okay. All right. So for those of you watching this after the fact, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, getting through a webinar just like this takes a lot of prowess and some time. Mike, I want to thank you too. Stick around, everybody in the chat room, because now he's giving you back to Mike Vicker. But stick around in the chat room for questions and answers. I'm pretty sure some of you have some, and we'll sit down and answer them till the cows come home. To everybody else, I look forward to seeing you inside. And of course, as always, trade well. I'm Max, and this is Dex.